That is practice. It's practice, by the way. Still 0-0, but that does set the tone. How Annihilate might go.
Ice, you can't ever be more further from the truth.
Dude, is it... Come on!
We were talking about like nothing because they're not doing anything.
Say, what am I...
On October 25th, 2024, top fighting team Prestigious Pros was going to fight the up-and-coming top team, Yuri Coalition. While this scrim has one of the most iconic moments in a scrim ever during Bread Factory...
Down, Grim can fall!
Grim!
Wait!
2 goes down!
There's no way.
No way.
Oh my...
They lost so bad.
Bakusha. Bro.
This scrim is pretty infamous for containing one game that has somewhat fallen into infamy. A game so boring and awful that it has become a reason as to why a map was banned from the map list in competitive fighting. This is a story of how sword fighting tournament Annihilate got banned from the map list. Throughout fighting's entire competitive life so far, there has always been changes in the map pool, but nothing really compares to the constant changing of the Annihilate map pool. This is not to say Annihilate is necessarily a bad mode by any means. I actually really like the mode compared to others, but it's mainly the maps that occupy it that pose the problem. Some maps are too closed in, too open, or just flat out suck a lot of the time. It always comes down to personal preference, but these are generally the 3 problems most Annihilate maps have. There was a time, however, where a good amount of Annihilate maps were allowed, most of them favoring long-ranged fighters. While the usual ranged Annihilate map allowed nowadays is reserved for banned LAN, there used to be a lot more Annihilate maps, most of them garnering a less than favorable reaction. One of those maps involves Sword Fighting Tournament, a map that is well liked by many people on Conquer, but is a map absolutely hated when it had Annihilate. However, the breaking point for banning this map is most likely from the Prestigious Pros vs Yuri Coalition scrim. The second one, by the way. This scrim was played out pretty regularly, all things considered, until the scrim was at Game 3 and Prestigious Pros was up 2-0. Since it was their pick, Prestigious Pros often went for long-range Annihilate maps as that was a weakness of Yuri Coalition. They decided to roll with Sword Fighting Tournament Annihilate, a rather disliked map by most players, but a map that benefited Prestigious Pros either way. Since Prestigious Pros had an amazing Hyperlaser player, they could play lane by afar and outpoke them with Hyperlaser and Skateboard, which could allow the others to open a huge rush which could allow them to roll over Yuri Coalition for the rest of the match. Considering Yuri Coalition's lack of a long-range option and naturally not being as experienced on Annihilate, this seemed like an easy point for Prestigious Pros. So Yuri Coalition decided to play this map the truly optimal way, by doing nothing.
Let's see.
Guys, please do something.
This is why we need to ban Annihilate. Don't let B gaslight you into thinking we need to Annihilate and comp and like competitive.
Yeah.
And that's sitting after spawn to wait for Prestigious Pros to get impatient. Yep, that is the strategy. They can't really outpoke Prestigious Pros, and they certainly can't rush onto them, or else initiating the fight will put them naturally at a disadvantage. So if Prestigious Pros' unusual team composition initiates first, Yuri Coalition has a natural lead as they can outbrawl them up close instead of poking. Not only that, since they can win the up close fights, this can naturally give them a point lead instead of rushing in. And that's exactly what happened. This is also due to the fact that Prestigious Pros has much weaker fighters up close, as Boombox and Hyperlaser aren't offensively inclined to rush in, and while Banhammer is offensive, he struggles a ton on Annihilate at this time due to him just not being able to catch up a lot of the time. This, compared to Yuri Coalition's more standard Annihilate composition, allows Yuri Coalition to simply play against them just better. And with one Bio ult and Scythe gun ult, Yuri Coalition got the point on the board.
Coming in.
Oh, no one's there to...
Dies for it. This was like Yuri's win here.
This is definitely Yuri's win right now.
Yeah, even if they kill all 5, it's not gonna happen the points. So sad. I hate that they just played passive and won.
After they played passive for 3 minutes of that.
There's really nothing to talk about. We started talking about teachers.
On October 28th, 3 days after that scrim, Yapna decided to upload a video, which is pretty much a comedic recap of the sword fighting tournament Annihilate match, showing how ridiculous Annihilate is because of map designs. I'll also leave a link to it in the description. It's truly a relic of fighting content. And on the same day of that Yapna video, sword fighting tournament was removed from the Annihilate map pools and queues, and then removed from most future map lists on Annihilate after that due to how bad it is, and I think that prestigious Pros vs Yuri Coalition game has something to do with it, which made for an iconic game for all the wrong reasons. Nowadays, the anti-map pool is small yet fine, opting to really leave one ranged hell map for the better, and the other 3 aren't as oppressive. Besides, Bandland is probably the best choice of a range map to keep because the others are just way worse. And as for Sword Fighting Tournament on Conquer, yeah, it's a good map, nothing much to say for that. I just wanted to cover Sword Fighting Tournament in particular, because while Spaceside's Annihilate isn't good, and you could honestly argue it's more controversial, it doesn't have a set as iconic as this one.
No, okay, hear me out. When the SFT match is on, put it up to 2 times speed and put Subway Surfers on.
Yep.
That's
Please,
the only way to
please,
make it bearable.
Yeah, please send it.
Make it like 4 times speed. Put on like a GIF and make it like like least campy Annihilate match.
Don't
Oh my
forget
God,
the Family Guy
please,
funny
please,
moment.
we need that. We need it.
Yeah. Can you please send it just so we can get Annihilate reworked, please?